guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Wednesday, April 8th, and it is 5:18 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, I'm getting an early start tonight because I had a friend drop in unexpectedly from the West Coast. We have been friends since we were teenagers and don't get to see each other very often because of the distance, but I'm looking forward to that. So I'm meeting with her for a late supper, so I thought I would get at least one recording out of the way. I have at least two to do, and I'm hoping that I'll be home in time tonight, even though it'll be late, to get another one out. So let's get started. There are no Q posts for today, but there's plenty of Q-related news. In fact, I am overwhelmed with the amount of news. I probably could do 5 videos tonight, seriously, if I had the time, because there is that much. And stuff is happening so quickly right now. And the other thing that I'm noticing is the uptick in attacks against Q and Q followers. So we know that there's something really huge going on because I'm just seeing it on every level. I'm seeing it even in Canadian news sources. So there's something going on. Also, I lost my train of thought. I don't know where that train went, but it derailed somewhere. Okay, well, let's get into it. Maybe that thought will come back to me, and maybe it won't. We never know. I guess it's all part of getting older. All right. So I thought I would show you guys this. This is from official Team Trump. And I don't know if this actually has anything to do with Trump or not. It has a blue check mark. Don't know, but doesn't really matter to me because what it's saying is definitely true. No collusion, no obstruction. AG Barr's summary speaks for itself. At real Donald Trump is totally exonerated. And yes, he is. Now, there are shills out there that will try to tell you otherwise, but no, he is totally exonerated. There was no collusion. There was no obstruction. And it wasn't just that there wasn't enough evidence of collusion to prosecute. No, there was no evidence of collusion at all. It did not exist, at least not in this dimension. You know, the Democrats live in their own little world there, but in their world it happened, but certainly not in ours. Now, let's go back and see what else we can get into because there is plenty. Now, this from Donald Trump. Everybody is now acknowledging that right from the time I announced my run for president, I was 100% correct on the border. Remember the heat I took? Democrats should now get rid of the loopholes. The border is being fixed. Mexico will not let people through. And you know, the border wall is only part of the problem. That's only going to fix part of the problem. And yes, it's going to help enormously. It's a massive step in the right direction. But we also need to fix the loopholes in the immigration laws. So that needs to be done as well. You know, it needs to be a two-pronged approach here. We need the wall, but we also need to fix the immigration laws. And that is what Donald Trump is saying here. It's like, look, you know, we need to fix this. Fix it, fix it. So I could not agree more. And of course, immigration is a very sore spot to me right now, and especially over the last couple days because I've realized that it's not going to be easy for me to get back. May not even be possible for me to get back and live in the States full time. I may have to surrender my green card and be able to, I could be in the States for 6 months. I could visit my friends. I could go down to Florida for 6 months in the winter if I wanted to, but I could not live there. So that's the way it's looking for me right now, which has left me very, very upset. Yesterday was a roller coaster day for me because not only did I find out this about immigration, so I was crying about that, And it's very hard to make me cry. I mean, you really have to work at it. I mean, you really have to try, especially if you want me to cry because I'm upset. I mean, you have to be an expert. So I was crying about that because I have spent so much time and energy in immigrating legally to the United States. So I was upset about that. But then I got some really absolutely wonderful news, which I will share with you as soon as I get permission from this person that gifted me with something that is going to help me enormously with what I do here. So I want to get their permission before I say anything about that. But that made me cry too. So I was just a mess last night. I was ready to record, and then I said, I can't get on there. I look like I've got eyes on me like a dead pike. I don't want to, and I thought, well, if I go on without the webcam, people will be like, what? What's this? So anyway, there's the story. All right, this from Martin Geddes. If I had to define, this is very good, and it summarizes the Q movement, and I hope we can adopt this kind of as a, I don't know, mission statement, I guess, for the Q movement. If I had to define the Q movement's membership, it would be people who no longer passively consent to being lied to and wish to instigate the necessary social and political change to stop the supply of official lies and to re-establish truth, honor, and justice as the norm. Now, this is very well written, very concise, very right to the heart of the matter, and I could not have done better myself. I don't know of anyone that could. This is really, I thought this was very well done, and it speaks to exactly what this movement is about, exactly what it is about. We are tired of being lied to, and we no longer give our consent to be lied to. All right, now, let me see this. I have so much stuff here. I don't know how I'm going to get through it all, but I'm going to try and chat much less so that we can move quickly. And this from a website called I Love My Freedom. And interestingly enough, Hillary goes full racist, slanders 65 million Trump supporters again. On Tuesday, in a tweet, former 2020 presidential loser, former 2020, it wasn't the, it was former 2016, yeah, loser. This is not well written at all, is it? Anyway, on Tuesday, former 2020 presidential loser Hillary Clinton implied that millions of people who voted against her and for Donald Trump were right nationalists. Now, we know that this woman has come up with every excuse in the book. Excuse me. She's come up with every excuse. I mean, she is the most creative excuse maker I've ever seen. She's come up with every single excuse. Now it was because of the white nationalists. That's the reason that she lost, is because of the white nationalists. Okay. Clinton shared an article from the far-left Huffington Post about Republican activists who have adopted President Trump's slogans and rhetoric. She also added the caption, "The white nationalists certainly think MAGA is a white nationalist slogan." The article tried to paint the picture that President Trump has started a racist movement, which is being carried out by white nationalists. Now, you and I both know that that is completely ludicrous and asinine, but you know, she's going to continue to spout whatever she needs to spout. Doesn't matter if it's true or it's a lie, because she has no conscience anyway. And I really do not believe that this woman has a conscience at all, at all. I don't know how she could sleep at night if she had a conscience, but apparently she does. So now, it says, and Clinton is certainly not alone in her opinion. Actress Alyssa Milano responded to the confrontation. Alyssa Milano needs to stick with acting. She really needs to stick with acting. I don't know what it is about actors that think that because they act on TV, that they have a voice into the lives of you know, millions of Americans, and that millions of Americans should sit up and listen to their opinion. I don't know. Now, someone like James Wood, that guy, he's evidently extremely smart. He's part of Mensa, and so yeah, I'll listen to his point of view because his views are very well thought out. But I'm not listening to Alyssa Milano. Give me a break. Seriously, she needs to go back to acting. She responded to the confrontation between the Covington Catholic High School students and Native American activist Nathan Phillips by claiming that the red MAGA hat is the new white hood. But regardless of the actions or opinions of far-right activists abroad, there were over 60 million Americans who voted for Trump in 2016, and most of them are neither far-right nor white nationalists. Actually, I don't know of any white nationalists in this movement. Certainly, there's going to be racist people in every movement. That's just the way it is. I mean, the Republicans don't have a patent on racism. Neither do the Democrats. You're going to find them scattered among all people groups and political ideology. I mean, it's there, it's out there still. Hopefully one day it will all be eradicated. But anyway, for someone who has been in politics for an entire professional career, it's appalling that Clinton is so quick to demonize normal American citizens. During her campaign in 2016, Clinton went as far as to label half of the voting population, those who support Trump, as deplorables. It's no wonder why she lost in 2016. Dana Loesch made the exact point in a tweet where she said the strategy of smearing people worked really well for your 2016 campaign. Yeah, it didn't work well for her at all. Huffington Post article started out by claiming white nationalists were adopting President Trump's styles, also claiming that not wanting illegal immigration is extreme. Well then, I would say that probably 70 to 80% of Americans are extreme, if that is the case. Make America Great Again has become more than a U.S. political slogan. For Bissonnette and other white nationalist, radical right and anti-immigrant extremists all over the world, it is a symbol, a kind of political messaging that transcends the specifics of country and language. The hat and the MAGA acronym have actually become shorthand for the white nationalist movement, said Barbara Perry, a professor at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology and an expert on the far right. Democrats love using the word white nationalism to try to portray the picture that America is a racist country because of people who love their country. The left has distorted the meaning of these two words to mean something they aren't. They tie nationalism to people like Adolf Hitler to demonize people who are proud to be American, when in reality, people who are nationalists are just proud to identify with the country they live in or are from. There is nothing wrong with being proud to be American, but Democrats love to tie the word white to nationalism, to make it seem like you are racist if you are a white person who is proud to identify with your country. Now that is ludicrous, because of course, there's something wrong with you. If you hate the country that you live in, there is something wrong with you, because, in this day and age, most of us have choices. I didn't like living in Canada. I felt from the time I was a young girl I wanted to live in America. I loved America. I had been traveling through it my whole life because my parents traveled a great deal, and I was glad of that because I received an education that I would not have received had I not traveled as much. And I just grew to love the Americans, and I wanted to live there. And so where there's a will, there's a way, and I found a way. And so, if you hate America, if you just can't stand America, if you don't agree with anything that goes on there, then get out. Get out. Find a country that does line up with your ideology and move there. There are ways, there are means. There's a will, there's a way. That's how I put myself through university. I didn't have the money at the time to go to university. There's a will, there's a way. So, yeah, the people that don't like America, I suggest that they find another country to move to. Anyway, perhaps Venezuela would be more to their liking. Let's go back now and go on. Now, Hannity I love this. This is a direct quote from him. He says, "An avalanche is coming." Now, interesting that he used the word avalanche. Remember D5 and how often Q used the term D5. D5 is the as classifications go for a avalanche. A D5 avalanche is the absolute worst avalanche that could happen. It will crush buildings, and it's the worst catastrophic avalanche that is possible, is a D5. And Q has used that many times. He's also used the symbology of a snowball picking up speed as it goes down. It starts up here, it's just a little tiny pebble, and as it gets to the bottom, it's a massive snowball gaining speed and willing to run everything over in its path. And that's what is happening here with this stuff. It is getting that big, and having someone that grew up as a child in a cold climate and very, very hilly environment here that I'm in, and we used to toboggan and roll things down the hills like little snowballs to watch them turn into great big ones. So it's something I'm very familiar with. And it's called packy snow. It's kind of like a wet heavy snow is the best for making snowmen and doing things like that. But anyway, that is what he's saying. I think that use of a word is very, very interesting. An avalanche is coming. In days, weeks ahead, much will be made public. All our reporting on this show will prove to be accurate. You've been lied to. Here's what's coming. Criminal investigations, leaking, FISA, Ukraine. It will cascade down on all bad actors. Russia lies. Now, this is something, because I know there's still so many people, and there's a whole lot of shills out there that say, nothing's happening. Q just keeps promising this stuff, but nothing's happening. And I was just reading a shill today on Twitter that had posted a fake Q post, and it's like, honestly, these people need to up their game, because I think the people that have been following this movement for the last year and a half, well, it's probably over a year and a half now, are just, smarter than that. They can see through it. It's easy to see through, right? And so it's like they need to up their game. They really do. They need to find some, more intelligent people to pay to be shills. And that's what these people do. They are paid to be shills. Like the Krasenstein brothers have admitted that they get paid to post this stuff about Trump. All this negative stuff about Trump, they're paid to do that. It's a job. Just like you go off to work in the morning, that's their job. They sit in front of a computer and they shill all day. That's what they do. And they are paid. And they're probably paid well. So, I don't know. I just would suggest that they find some more intelligent people, because most of us, I'd say 90% of us, can see straight through it. Now, those people that are on the periphery and have not gotten right into the movement and have not been listening from the start and only get smatterings here and there, they might get snared into that. But the people that have been following this all along, they're not going to get snared into that. They're too smart. They know too much now. So, there you go. Now, let's look at this. No, really, let's. This from a POTUS schedule. AG Barr says he'll release Mueller's report within a week and will offer some explanations for material he is withholding. So he's saying within a week, the Mueller report's coming out, and anything that is withheld, there'll be a good reason for it, and I'm going to give you that reason. So in interest of national security, what have you, there are going to be probably things that are redacted, but there will be a good reason for it. It won't be to cover up the Democrats, lies and whatever, sedition, treason, what have you. So that is coming within a week, and that will be a glorious day. Barr says he plans to release Mueller report within a week. Attorney General William Barr said he'll release Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report within a week and will offer some explanations for material he is withholding. So this is good news to me. We are going to be very busy, so I'm going to have to get a lot of stuff out of the way and clear my schedule, because I need to have time to be able to report on all this, because there's going to be a lot of information coming out in a very short period of time. So there you have it. This from Wyatt. Forget Watergate. Forget any political scandal you ever heard about, researched, or read about in your lifetime. The scale of what is going to emerge in the next weeks and months will be like anything you ever considered possible. Trump knows and has everything. Buckle TF up. I don't want to say that. I like to say, buckle up, Buttercup. So, and that's what you need to do. Buckle up, Buttercup. Because it's coming, it's coming. And, you know, all those people that have been shilling and making fun and poking fun. Now, is this going to stop the mainstream media from their spin? No. It will change their spin, right? Because when they see, oops, that narrative isn't going to work anymore, we better find another one. Because the Russian collusion narrative isn't working anymore. The obstruction of justice narrative isn't working anymore. So you're going to find them coming up with new ways to slam Trump, to skew things. They're not going to stop. You know, it's not like they're going to roll over and play dead and say, oh yeah, well, you win, Trump. No, that's never going to happen. They'll fight to the death if they have to. All right, now this good news too. Let's look at this. There's just a lot of stuff out in the last few days. A lot. That's why I'm excited to see my friend, but you know, I'm like, you know, I really want to get to all this. So I'm hoping that I get home tonight and I'll be able to do another video, because there is just so much stuff and it's all good stuff. Okay, listen to this. And this is from CAG Daily, and Bill Barr puts Barack Obama on notice. Fires first shot in coming war with deep state. Now there's a headline. There's a good headline. So Bill Barr just put Barack Obama on notice. Barr revealed for the first time today during congressional testimony about his investigation into the origins of the deep state hit job on Trump. And that's exactly what it was. It was a deep state hit job. Look, we know James Comey is a dirty cop, or worse, a horrible cop corrupted by his own ego. We know all about the shenanigans from Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. We know about the Steele debacle, and we know that Adam Schiff and other Democrats selectively leaked congressional testimony from Team Trump to the media to make it seem like there was collusion. Oh, they knew the whole time the charges were dubious because they had all the information, but they only leaked the bad parts. Yeah. What we don't know if it was all one big coordinated smear campaign, or if they just got lucky and bumbled into conspiring to take down Trump. Well, I don't think that they just bumbled into it. I think that this was well planned, and probably planned for a long time. I think as soon as Trump even, you know, showed any inkling of running, it probably went into motion, because they wanted to be sure that Hillary won, because she could hide their bodies, right? She knew where all the bodies were buried, and she could hide it and, you know, cover up the sins of her co-conspirators. So yeah, I think it's been a long time in the making, and we don't know what Obama knew and when did he know. It seems far-fetched to believe Obama was not aware of any of this. It is absolutely, there is no absolute way Obama could not have known about this. Seriously. He had the top position in the land. There's no way he didn't know about this. So, yeah, I can't believe for a minute, and I don't think Barr believes for a minute that there's a possibility that he didn't know. I think Barr is just being, you know, polite and conservative until he knows for sure. And put it this way, if he was unaware and the charges warranted investigation and he ignored them, he would be derelict in his duties, which is possible based on his 8 years, but it could be a whole lot worse. Oh, and I do believe it is a whole lot worse. That is why we want answers, and thankfully Bill Barr agrees and is doing that right now. From Fox News, Attorney General William Barr revealed Tuesday that he is reviewing the conduct of the FBI's original Russia investigation during the summer of 2016, following calls from Republicans to investigate the origins of the probe. Barr explained that Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz has a pending investigation into the FISA warrants and said the probe will be complete by May or June. He then confirmed he's personally reviewing the investigation itself. More generally, I am reviewing the conduct of the investigation and trying to get my arms around the aspects of the counterintelligence investigation that was conducted in the summer of 2016, Barr testified. The comments come after the House Intelligence Committee ranking member Devin Nunes said over the weekend he was preparing to send 8 criminal referrals to the Justice Department this week regarding alleged misconduct by DOJ and FBI officials during the Trump-Russia investigation. It is unclear whom Nunes will refer for investigation and what the process at the Justice Department might be. I think we could probably guess who is being referred for investigation. I think that we would probably all be able to make an educated guess on that. When asked Tuesday about Nunes' referrals, Barr said he hadn't seen them yet, but obviously there is a predicate for investigation. It will be conducted. So Barr is promising us here that this investigation will be conducted. They're not letting it go. They're not just saying, oh yeah, okay, there's no collusion and no obstruction of justice and let's just move on. They're like, how did this begin and how did we get there? Because it's important. It's extremely important, not only to bring justice for people like Trump and others that were spied on, but also to make sure that it doesn't happen again. This is Watergate on steroids. Seriously. Barr's review could dovetail with the work U.S. Attorney John Huber has been doing. Not could. It will. It will dovetail. And I think we've got enough information at this point to agree that it will dovetail with John Huber's work. In 2017, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions appointed Huber to review not only alleged surveillance abuses by the Justice Department and the FBI, but also the handling of the probe into the Clinton Foundation and other matters. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham said his panel would investigate alleged FISA abuses at the start of the Russia investigation and called on Barr to appoint a new special counsel to investigate the other side of the story. Graham has been calling for a second special counsel since 2017 to investigate whether or not a counterintelligence investigation was opened as a backdoor to spy on the Trump campaign. And of course, we know that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And I agree, there needs to be a special committee to look at the other side. All the stuff that's come up during this witch hunt for Trump, all of this stuff, all of this wrongdoing on the other side needs to be addressed and adjudicated and prosecuted. The investigation was formally opened by Peter Strzok, a former senior counterintelligence agency, during the summer of 2016. Former FBI counsel Lisa Page, with whom Strzok was romantically involved, revealed during a closed-door congressional interview that the FBI knew so little about whether allegations against the Trump campaign were true or not true. At the time, they had opened the probe, noting that they had just a paucity of evidence because we were just starting down the path of vetting the allegations. Page later said that it was entirely common that the FBI would begin a counterintelligence investigation with just a small amount of evidence. The FBI at the time was led by former Director James Comey and former Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, both fired by the Trump administration with just cause, of course. Now, let's go back. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff happening. Now, this you are going to want to see. Um, just watching this, my stomach starts to turn, and I think, my gosh, I don't know what I'd do if I was in the position of him. But this is going to be very eye-opening if you haven't already seen it. Now, this is, let me go back here and tell you what we're looking at. Representative Maxine Waters, chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, which, to begin with, is absolutely ludicrous because, you know, wasn't she named the most corrupt woman in politics on more than one occasion? She's been involved in a lot of scandal, but here she is, the House, or the chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee. That's kind of like, you know, asking a wolf to guard your sandwich, asking, you know, the cat to guard your milk, or mashed potatoes, because tonight I had mashed potatoes on the counter, went to go to the bathroom, came back, and Sammy, well, he had scarfed down half my mashed potatoes. Who knew that cats ate mashed potatoes? I had no idea. But there's something else I have to hide from Sammy. Anyway, Representative Maxine Waters, chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, and Treasury Secretary Steve Munchkin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. He probably doesn't pronounce it Munchkin. But because I don't listen to the news and I get all my news by reading mostly, I sometimes don't know how to pronounce names. Forgive me. But Steve Munchkin face off. At the hearing, Democrats questioned him, that's Steve, about when he will respond to requests for access to President Donald Trump's tax returns. So that's why he's there, okay? He's responding to the Democrats. They're questioning him when he's going to release, if he's going to release Donald Trump's tax returns. This is how Maxine Waters treats this man. Now, let's go here and listen. All right, now.
Hour and 15 minutes. I've told you.
Hang on.
I've sat here for over 3 hours and 15 minutes. I've told you I'll come back. I just don't believe we're sitting here negotiating when I come back. We'll follow up with your office. How long would you like me to come back for next time? I've told you I'll accommodate you.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate your reminding us of the length of time other secretaries have been here. This is a new way, and it's a new day.
Yeah, well,
and it's a new chair,
okay,
and I have the gavel at this point. If you wish to leave, you may.
Can you clarify that for me?
Yes, clarify.
So
if you wish to leave, you may.
Okay, so we're dismissed. Is that correct?
If you wish to leave, you may leave.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You're wasting your time. Don't remember you have a foreign dignitary in your office.
I would just say that the previous when the Republicans, they did not treat the Secretary of the Treasury this way. So if this is the way you want to treat me, then I'll rethink whether I voluntarily come back here to testify, which I've offered to do.
Mr. Secretary, I want you to know that no other secretary has ever told us the day before that they were going to limit their time in the way that you're doing. So if you want to use them as examples, you have acted differently than they have acted, and as I have said, if you wish to leave, you may.
If you'd wish to keep me here so that I don't have my important meeting and continue to grill me, then we can do that. I will cancel my meeting and I will not be back here. I will be very clear. That's the way you'd like to have this relationship.
Thank you. The gentleman, the secretary, has agreed to stay to hear all of the rest of the members.
Okay,
please
so
cancel your meeting and respect our time. Who is next on the list?
My foreign meeting. You're instructing me to stay here and I should cancel.
No, you just made me an offer.
No, I didn't make you an offer.
You made me an offer that I accepted.
I did not make you an offer. Just let's be clear. You're instructing me. You are ordering me to stay here.
No, I'm not ordering you. I'm responding. I said you may leave anytime you want. And you said, okay. If that's what you want to do, I'll cancel my appointment and I'll stay here. So I'm responding to your request. If that's what you want to do.
That's not what I want to do. I told you.
What would you like to do?
What I told you is I thought it was respectful that you'd let me leave at 5:15.
You are free to leave anytime you want. You may go anytime you want.
Please dismiss everybody. I believe you're supposed to take the gravel and bang it. That's
Please do not instruct me as to how I'm to conduct this committee.
Yeah, that's why nothing's getting done in Washington. That right there. I mean, this woman is not even responsible enough to be a parking lot attendant. She shouldn't even be in charge of a parking lot. Unbelievable. And you can see the power. She's obviously had a facelift. I mean, she looks really good. Not that I'm just pointing that out because I noticed. I mean, she does look good. But her behavior, there's certainly been no improvement there at all. And here's this guy, he's already been there for several hours being grilled, and he's had a meeting. There's a guy, a foreign dignitary is sitting in his office waiting for a meeting. It's 5:15 in the evening, and he's asking, can I go to my meeting, or would you like to continue on here? And she just won't even give him, he's asking her to clarify what she means. If it's okay for him to leave, but she wants him to come back later, or if she needs him to stay and finish so he won't need to come back later. I mean, these are valid questions he's asking her, but can you imagine sitting there having to cooperate with a woman like this? Seriously, I don't know. Like, how do they get anything done? Really? I don't know. That just absolutely floored me. That I guess it shouldn't surprise me, but it did. To tell you the truth, it did. Now let's go back, because we got lots more good stuff here, really. All right, let's go down to this. And this is all over, you know, with Maxine Waters here. That's all over releasing Trump's tax returns. I don't know of any other president where they've demanded their tax returns. I don't, to my knowledge, it's never been done. And they're not even alluding to a crime that they might find. It would be different if they said, well, he did this and this and this, and his tax returns will prove it. No, they're not. It's nothing like that. They're going in search of a crime. And quite frankly, if Donald Trump has to give his tax returns, I think every member of Congress should, right? That's what I think. I mean, presidential harassment is the only name for it, and I don't know when or if it's ever happened before in the history of America. Not like that. It's one thing to disagree with the president. That's okay. You can disagree, of course. That's what, if everyone thinks alike, I mean, if you and I thought alike on every single thing, one of us wouldn't be necessary, right? So, it's fine to disagree. It's fine to discuss, but to get up and make up lies and just a constant barrage of negativity against him and his personality and what he eats and just you name it. And then you've got poor Melania, who is clearly one of the most beautiful women in the world, both inside and out. Absolutely stunning. And she's so elegant and refined and photographs so well, you would think every magazine would want her on the cover, wouldn't you? Here she's been a professional model. She's absolutely gorgeous. She photographs well. If I was an editor of a magazine, I'd be like, okay, get her. We want her on the cover. But no, nobody will put her on the cover. Why is that? Michelle Obama was all over every cover. Really. And she's no model. She's not even she. I'm sorry, did I say, I didn't say that out loud, did I? I hope not. Okay, and here we've said a long time this needs to be done. I'm glad to see it happen. This from Rebel Sherry. And she is responding to a news article that says, hang on here, that says, breaking, White House to target illegal alien money transfers. Now, what is he talking about? He's talking about all these illegal aliens that come over, and what they're doing is sending money back home. Well, that's all well and good, and I do understand that. If I was, if I was working in America right now and I had a family member that was ill or needed money, I would be sending money to them. Absolutely, I would. So I understand that, but these are illegals, okay? This is money that is not being taxed. Maybe it is. I mean, some of them have false social security numbers and so forth, but here's this huge amount of money, and it is huge, going out of the economy. These people aren't spending their money in the U.S. They are living, a lot of them are living in very squalid conditions. Many of them, 30 to a house or whatever, especially those in California, because who can afford rent there? Or to buy something. You can't, not anymore. And so they're living in squalid conditions, and they're sending all their money back out of the country, which harms our economy. Plus, any freebies that they're getting, that comes out of the economy, that comes out of taxpayer dollars. So yeah, I think that this has been needed for a very long time, and it is a huge amount of money. I saw an article about it, and I have forgotten what the sum was, but it was a massive sum that is going out of the country daily. All right, now let's see this right here. This is from Jim Jordan. Have a lot of respect for Jim Jordan and Devin Nunes and many of the others that probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I didn't know their names. They're now becoming household names, and some of them are earning a lot of respect, and some of them are not. All right, Jim Jordan on Trump taxes. I don't think the American people care. Attorney General Barr, Democrats, Donald J. Trump, Jim Jordan, what is this? Oh, those are the tags for it. Jim Jordan answered questions on the Mueller report and the Democrats trying to get President Trump's tax returns. His answers were spot on. It's up to him if he wants to, fine. If he doesn't want to, fine. There's no law that says he has to. Jim Jordan fired shots at his Democratic colleagues for trying to use the IRS to make President Trump's tax records in order for political gain. Actually, it should be to release, not to make his tax records or to make them available. It's funny now. A lot of these professional journalistic sites have so many typos and so many grammatical errors anymore. It drives me crazy. Not that we all make mistakes, absolutely. I make my mistakes as well, but you would think that they would have an editor to go over this before it's released. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The fact that you have leaders in the United States Congress for political reasons trying to force the IRS to make public an individual's and American citizens' tax returns, I think when you have people in the Congress who are trying to get access to someone's tax returns for political reasons, that's as scary as it gets. And I would agree. This is all for political reasons. Nobody has suggested that there's a crime that they're looking for. Well, they are looking for something. But no one has suggested that they know about something and that the tax returns will prove it. No, they're going on a fishing expedition. That's all it is. So what I would do is I'd say, sure, I'll release my tax returns. You release yours. You know that Maxine Waters, Pelosi, people like that, they're not going to ever release their returns, are they? Anyway, let's go back. We've got more. We've got a lot more. Alrighty. All right. I'll just get rid of this so I know that I've covered it, and hopefully my sound is working. Otherwise, I will have gotten rid of the articles, and you won't be able to hear them. Let me just check on that momentarily. Seems to be working fine. Everything seems to be working, so I think we're good. All right. Presidential candidates Kamala Harris, Cory Booker and Elizabeth Warren are pushing slavery reparations, money taken from people who were never slave owners and given to people who were never slaves. It's just another divisive Democratic tactic to garner the black vote. And that is exactly what it is. And you know what? I think they think that the blacks are stupid, and they're not. They're waking up more and more every day, especially with movements like Brexit and is it not Blexit? And you know, they're waking up because of people like Candace Owen and other people that are standing up and saying, look, you know, what they're promising us, this is not working. They're keeping us enslaved. And boy, are they ever. And now, of course, with the promise of reparations, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I think it's absolutely horrendous that anybody had slaves. I think it's horrendous because there are places in the world where people still do have slaves. And especially in terms of sex trafficking and so forth. I'm not talking about that so much. But yeah, but reparations, how do you go about doing that? Really? Who do you take the money from? And who do you give it to? You know, because there's nobody, well, no, I shouldn't say that. There may be some people still alive today that were part of slavery. There were certainly people alive today that were part of a gross injustice and racism, you know, in their lifetimes. There's no question about that. But who gets reparations and who doesn't? You know, I don't know. It's a mess. All right, and this qualifications for House Finance Service Committee Chair. This is tongue-in-cheek, rather. Maxine Swamp Waters. I think that should be her new nickname. She's got hole-in-the-head disease. Held $200,000 in Russian funds. She passed only 3 bills in 27 years. She votes for policies that increase poverty for minorities. She is named one of the top corrupt politicians in D.C., and she's been prosecuted 4 times for fraud. But by all means, let her look after the finances. It's ludicrous. Really, you can't make this stuff up. You can't. Like, honestly, if someone was writing a book about all this and, you know, it went to a publisher, they'd take one look at it and go, that's ridiculous. That could never happen. I mean, unless they were writing it as science fiction or something, because really, it's crazy. Now, this from Tammy Bruce. Trump job approval jumps to 53%, 7 points higher than Obama. Now, I happen to believe that Trump's approval rate is higher than that, personally, but even at 53%, that's pretty good, because that means over half of America is in favor of the job that Trump's doing. They're in favor of his policies. They're in favor of what he's done, where he's going, where we're headed. That's pretty good. Trump's job approval ratings currently sits at 53%, 7 points higher than Barack Obama at the same point in his presidency. Well, that's no surprise there, because what did Barack Obama do? I mean, really, what did he do? I can't think of one thing that he will be noted for as a lasting legacy, except for his treason. That will be his legacy. All right, and this from James Woods. Now, will the Democrats kindly sit down, shut up, and let the adults have the room? Thank you. Gotta love James Woods. Mueller witch hunt. 2 years, 19 lawyers, 2,800 subpoenas, 40 FBI agents, analysts, accountants, staff, 230 communication records, 13 requests to foreign governments, 500 search warrants, 500 witnesses, 40 million plus wasted, Outcome, no collusion or obstruction. Yeah, I agree with James Woods. Like, Democrats need to sit down and let the adults take the room, because they're truly not adults. I don't know. All right, now, convicted of voter fraud, this woman gets a hero's welcome at a Democrat voting rights rally. Meloise Richardson, a poll worker in Hamilton County, Ohio, was sentenced last July to 5 years in prison for casting fraudulent votes for Barack Obama in 2008 and 12. Her sentence was reduced to probation, and last week she appeared on stage at a Democrat voter rally where this convicted felon was greeted with a round of applause. Breaking the law now is considered, you know, I guess something that's in need of applause and recognition, because she you know, she cheated in 2008 and 12 by casting fraudulent votes for Barack Obama, and she only did probation, which is bad enough, but here she's on stage and they're all clapping for her. A fraudulent voter. Unbelievable. Evidently, the Democrats don't have any problem with voter fraud, do they? They've committed enough of it. So, all right, and this, Dan Bongino says, breaking. AG Barr says redacted Mueller report available to public within a week. And Dilly says, be careful what you ask for, Democrats. Now, I could not agree more. I don't think they have any idea. I think that they think they're going to go over that with a fine-tooth comb and find something to twist, something they can get into the mainstream media narrative. Oh, but this happened and this happened. That's what they're doing. They're going to look for something they can twist and use. That's it. But I think they're in for a surprise. Yes, I do. And personally, I'd like to see that surprise. All right. Now, this is interesting. It's a little bit off topic, but yet not really, because it does have to do with this whole global monitoring that is taking place at an alarming pace. And this is in the UK. Creepy artificial intelligence monitoring UK employees' work tasks in real time. Over 130,000 people in the UK and abroad are being monitored by an artificial intelligence system known as Isaac, which scrutinizes staff behavior minute to minute, according to The Guardian. Dozens of UK businesses are using the Isaac system, which analyzes tasks such as whose email who and when, how workers are collaborating, and which staff are influencers or change makers, according to the report. Designed by London-based company Status Today, the system can pinpoint certain individuals within a network to better allocate workloads and responsibilities, ultimately improving the overall workplace environment and reducing stress and overworking. Thus far, Isaac has gathered data on more than 1 billion actions. Now, the computer can compare activity data with qualitative assessment of workers from personnel files or sales performance figures to give managers a detailed picture of how behavior affects output. Users so far include 5 law firms, a training company called Smarter Not Harder, and a London estate agency, J. Brown, according to Status Today, which promises real-time insights into each employee and their position within the organizational network. Workers do not automatically have the right to see the data, which is controlled by the employer. Critics say workers will be under mind-numbing pressure to constantly perform for fear of being singled out by the AI. Yes, that's exactly what will happen. If performance targets are being fine-tuned by AI and your progress towards them being measured by AI, that will only multiply the pressure, said labor and globalization professor Ursula Hughes of University of Hertfordshire. People are deemed not to be working if they take their hands off the keyboard for 5 minutes, but they could be thinking, and that doesn't get measured. What is this doing for innovation, which needs creative workers? Hughes said that people's mental health is at risk if they don't take occasional breaks for recreational activities such as browsing social media or playing a game. Somehow everyone stayed sane before computers, but we digress. According to a survey released last week, UK workers tend to procrastinate for around 3 hours per day. Isaac is part of what experts have labeled the precision economy, in which every action of an individual is measured and analyzed for peak efficiency. Now, I'm not going to go through and read all this, but have you ever worked somewhere like, say, a call center or something like that, where you are measured by how many calls you're taking and what the outcome is and so forth? The pressure in those kind of, they're low paid jobs and they are high pressure. Now, I did that for, well, it was, I was working for a bank actually, but I was on an automatic dialer all the time, and you know, everything we did was analyzed. In fact, they would come and ask you, you spent like 9 minutes in the bathroom. Why did you spend 9 minutes in the bathroom? Like, no joking. They'd ask you things like that. Like, okay, you spent 20 minutes today going to the bathroom. You know, seriously, that happened to me. I had to explain, I have a bladder infection and I need to go to the bathroom a lot. It'll clear up in a few days. I'm taking antibiotics. Oh, okay. Now, that was embarrassing for me. Seriously, that's embarrassing. But that, you know, and honestly, that is the only job I've ever had where literally I would be in tears on my way to work thinking, please God, please find me another job. I hated it. I hated it so much because of the pressure. They were always on you, always on you. And just, you know, people can't work like that. It's what that will cause is nervous breakdowns. Seriously, it will cause people to become less productive, not more. Now, yes, you do have to have some, you know, sort of way of monitoring. You can't have somebody playing on their computer 5 hours a day when they're being paid for an 8-hour day. Certainly not. But, you know, you can see where all this could go, and it isn't pretty. It isn't pretty at all. Really. All right, let's go back. Now, I'm not going to go too much longer because I have been going for a while now, although I have so much more to get through. Now, this breaking sex slave trade is very real. Actress Allison Mack pleads guilty to child racketeering for cult NXIVM. She was the slave recruiter for their spiritual leader, Keith Raniere. The cult posed as a woman's empowerment sorority. The lib world is perverse. And Allison Mack just left federal court in Brooklyn. She entered a plea to racketeering charges in connection to an alleged sex cult called NXIVM. Okay, well, first of all, it's not an alleged sex cult. It is a sex cult. She's accused of recruiting sex slaves for its spiritual leader, Keith Raniere, and she has pled guilty. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more come out of that, because I bet you, as part of her plea or whatever, and I don't know, but I think she probably talked to reduce her sentence or whatever. She probably, if she hasn't already, she will. And so I'm expecting other big names to be associated with this in the very near future. I could be wrong. I've been wrong again, but that's what I expect to happen. That would be what would make sense. All right. Now, this I wanted to warn you guys about. It says, I the Spy. This is circulating currently. This is fake. No such charges have been filed. Contains numerous falsehoods. Be careful who you follow. And it says, on Saturday, April 6, White House attorney Rudy Giuliani filed a formal charge of treason against Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and called for her impeachment. So this is a false story. And like I said before, they plant these stories because they want those of us that are disseminating this information to pick up on it and report on it so they can point back and say, see, fake news. It's fake. So we do have to be careful. I'm not going to go through and read the rest of it because it's false. Attorney Rudy Giuliani did not file formal charges of treason against Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. So there you go. I wanted to just let you know that that is a fake news story. So if you see that on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, you will know it is a false story. Now, here, this by Ryan Fournier. Nancy Pelosi has steadfastly refused to turn over her own tax records despite co-sponsoring a bill requiring presidents to do so. All right. Nothing hypocritical. There's nothing hypocritical about that, is there? No, not at all. But isn't that interesting? She wants to co-sponsor a bill requiring presidents to release their tax returns. I don't care what a president does, you know, especially one that's a businessman. You know, I expect Trump to make a lot of money. That's what he was known for. He's a billionaire, owns some of the most expensive real estate on the planet. I don't care. Now, I would be more interested in people's tax returns while they're in a civil servant's job. Now, if Trump wanted to release his tax returns for the time that he's been president, that's okay. I mean, if he wants to. But if he does, I think the others should be required to as well. And I think that's only fair. All right. Now, this from James Wood. Responding to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she said, the far right loves to drum up fear and resistance to immigrants. But have you ever noticed they never talk about what's causing people to flee their homes in the first place? And James Wood says, dear Lord, you are a parody of yourself. They come here for free stuff from socialists like you, immediately send money across the border tax-free, then vote illegally for bird-brained Democrats like you. Then the next wave loves the money, hungers for free stuff, and so on. He just tells it like it is. Gotta love that guy. Now, all right, one more. Donald Trump, in response to Ilhan Omar, Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. He is a Trump advisor. Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. The fact that he still has influence on policy and political appointments is an outrage. Yes, this by Ilhan Omar, who won't condemn homosexuals being stoned to death. No, she thinks that's okay. Now, Donald Trump responds and says, she, Congresswoman Omar, keeps on assaulting Jews. Jeff Balaban, B2 Strategic CEO, and it's true. She just keeps anybody like Jews, you know, whatever. She's that's what the word is right now. It's like the KKK used to be. Like you'd say, oh, he's in the KKK. Well, now it's, oh, he's a white nationalist. What does that even mean? A nationalist is someone who loves their country. Is that wrong? There are white nationalists, yes. There are black nationalists, yes. There are Latin nationalists. They come from every race, color, religion, everything, all over the world to America. If they love America, they're nationalists. Has nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's ridiculous. They're trying to, in people's mind, associate white nationalism with Nazism, KKK, etc. It's nuts. Nuts, I tell you. Now, let me do this one too. I just wanted to get through as much stuff before I absolutely had to go, and I really do have to go after this. Paul Sperry, breaking. McCabe personally saw to it that General Flynn was fired after Yates' pressuring of White House lawyer McGahn on January 30th, 2017, didn't accomplish their goal, McCabe sat VP Pence down in Situation Room on February 10th and had him read his 302s on Flynn. The NSC chief was fired 3 days later. And nothing surprises me any longer. Okay, one more. Ilhan Omar, I ran on a promise to end the president's hateful Muslim ban. And tomorrow we will introduce a bill to do just that. No one should be denied basic rights because of their religion, race, or national origin. Hashtag No Ban Act. And Dan Bongino says she's lying again. It's incredible how comfortable Representative Omar is with grotesque dishonesty. The lies flow endlessly. This is yet another shameless fabrication with no attachment to reality. There is no Muslim ban, period. Yeah, well, tell that to her, because, all right, this is the last one. QT Anon. If Michelle Obama went missing, would the police go on a manhunt? I'll just leave that right there. Yes, I will. Why isn't this erasing? Okay, now I'm going to have to break now because I really do have to go, because I would like to, you know, get ready and put some decent clothes on and stuff. So what I'm going to try and do, and I will try my very best, is when I come back, even if it's late, I will try to do another video. I want to do another video. I want to get through some of this stuff because now stuff is dropping at an increasing pace, and I want to be able to keep up and keep giving you what is relevant. So I will try my very best to do another video tonight. Now I will warn you, it will be much later tonight. It could be 10 before I get it uploaded, 10 or 11. But I will try my level best to do that. And but that is it for this video, and this will give you something to chew on in the meantime. And till then, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you guys do. You honestly, I know I say this all the time, that I have great listeners, but I really do. And all you have to do is read through the comments and you'll see how great my listeners really are. Some of the best people that you would ever meet. And I hope sometime, some place where I am able to meet at least some of you. I would love that if I was able to, at some event, meet some of you guys. I would absolutely enjoy that so much. And thank you personally for listening and being so encouraging. So anyway, I'm going to cut it off there, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I will hopefully be back to see you soon. Remember, always seek truth, because deception bites. And